Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday. Welcome back to Recall Knowledge presents Outlaws of Alkenstar, a show where Pathfinder enthusiasts play through your favorite adventure path. I'm your GM, Steve, and I'm joined by Ricardo, Richard, Ninna, and Tommy. Go ahead, everyone, and say, howdy, Outlaws!
Howdy!
Your mic broke there in a way that it sounded like you were auto-tuned, and that was perfect.
Amazing. I definitely did not have auto-tune set on purpose. Everyone who's joining us for the first time, welcome, and everyone who's been with us before, welcome back. It's good to have you with us. We're happy you're with us again, and we're moving on, guys. The final chapter of the book, Cradle of Quartz, and, you know, like we remarked, maybe, is it worth calling it the Cradle of Quartz if we survived the Cradle of Quartz and moved on? I don't know, but that's what the book's called. That's what the show is still called.
I did not see a cradle.
You didn't look hard enough.
The real cradle was the friends we made along the way. The real cradle was Kosowana. I don't know how I feel about that.
Howdy to Scion, Nixie, Mecha Maya, Axiom, PI, everyone in chat. Sundance Kid. Hello, everyone. We're getting ready to go live. Well, I guess we are live. What am I talking about? It's Well-Oiled Machine.
That's you.
So I'm excited to get back to Alkenstar and figure out what's been going on with this Pyronite. You know, you guys left to go protect Pyronite and found out, Pyronite actually might have leaked.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so excited. Let's just jump right into it. No need for an ad read.
No.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Molten hosting, one word. You get that shit for cheaper.
My script says sponsor bit. Sponsor bit. As alluded to by Richard, unfortunately, which he's going to really hate me for tonight. Tonight we are sponsored once again by our longtime friends of the show, Molten Hosting.
They're so
hot. So hot.
You hear the fear in their voices, and soon enough you will understand why. If you've been watching us for a while, like most of our viewers have, you know that Molten Hosting are longtime supporters not only of the show, but the Pathfinder community in general. And wouldn't you know it, just this week, the world famous Molten Homies dropped their new track called At the End of the Rainbow. So, on loan, straight from the internet, please welcome the official MoltenHosting.com spokespeople. Who is Molten Hosting? The Molten Homies! Performing their brand new single, Take It Away, Homies.
What's up, Internet? It's your girl, Nasty Ninna, coming at you with a hot new track.
So hot it's molten.
You know it, so sit back and let me and my boy Richie Rich tell you all about the good old days.
Back before Foundry. Rest in peace. Here we go. Back in the day, I used to be a little tyke. Even back then, I still rocked the mic. Forced to play games using Roll20, wondering why I was wasting my money. Out on the streets, I saw something beautiful. A new tabletop that was actually usable, and playing Foundry set my heart aglow like finding treasure at the end of a rainbow.
Things were going all right setting up my server, but damn self-hosting killed my feeling forever. There's gotta be a solution out there worth hosting. I got lost. That's how I found about Molten Hosting. Got my server in the cloud and things are wonderful. Following that rainbow and cloud where things are colorful. And who did I meet at the end? Well, it wasn't your mommy. It's our new best friend, Tiny Tommy! Take it away!
I hate you guys. Tiny Tommy here in the leprechaun with a go. I'm only 3 feet high, but I still feel button tall. Don't dare take a crack about my bald cube wall, or I'll kick you in the nuts like you're a football. Always the last one standing in a bar room. Bro, I'll protect your data like I'm a stone wall. I'm fluid in hypertext transfer protocol, so trust Tiny Tommy with the server, y'all.
At the end of the rainbow, there's a better way of life. Get away from self-hosting and a ton of strife.
At the end of the rainbow, you won't get disconnected. Because with Molten Hosting, you're always protected.
And if you're new, you've got to use that code. The one phrase works as a payload. Type it in at checkout and watch it explode. Now, the word isn't really hard to decode. Use the code Recall Knowledge.
One word.
One word.
And you too can freeload.
This is
Best ever.
absolutely the worst thing I've ever done.
Yes, it is, Steven.
Which makes it the best. Big thanks to the Molten Homies and their newest member, Tiny Tommy, with their single "The End of the Rainbow." Clearly, this will be the last sponsor bit ever once they see what we've done with their brand. Molten Hosting, we still love you. I hope you still love us. And Tommy, you're officially initiated into the Molten Homies.
Oh, jeez.
Telling you it was coming for a while. It was here.
You did.
So in the meantime, help us out and help yourself out. Head on over to moltenhosting.com to check out what they have to offer. Their servers let you host your Foundry VTT instance in the cloud at locations all over the world, along with their nightly backups, awesome customer service, and even a leprechaun protecting your data in the cloud. What could go wrong?
Absolutely nothing. I haven't seen that Jennifer Aniston movie from the 90s. Don't fucking worry about it.
Make sure to use the code Recall Knowledge.
One word.
One word.
I'm just gonna stick like this for 3 hours to punish you, Steven. I'm gonna do it.
Oh God. Check out and you can get your whole first month of service for free. It's a service we use on the show, and we urge you to check it out as well. Thank you once again, Molten Homing, and thank you guys for putting up with the Molten Homies bit. And I'm gonna have to rope Rick in next.
What does Saruk sound like if Saruk is a leprechaun? Majagua! Yeah, okay, that works pretty well.
Rick's gone. Have I forced Rick into a Molten Homies bit yet? I don't know if I have.
I feel like maybe.
I don't know. Okay, well, if no, okay, well, it's coming. If you're watching this, go into YouTube or the Twitch chat and let us know your best suggestions for what I should do for Rick, the Molten Homies. All right.
Lance is over to the chat waiting.
Mhm.
One last announcement before we get started. Today is actually the first day of Ramadan. So that a big congratulations. Or do you congratulate Ramadan? Well, big celebration. Everyone's celebrating. Richard does celebrate, and we'll be fasting until sunset for the entire next moon cycle, if I understand how it works. Because of that, we'll be starting a little bit later next week on March 29th after sunset, so we can eat without having to like force ourselves to starve through the whole show. Next week, we'll be starting at 7:30, and as we go forward, that time will be adjusted. We might be doing earlier breaks instead of later starts and such, because the sun changes when it moves.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, right?
Yeah, and just as a big thanks for like still sticking with us. This month, Richard, lunch is on me.
I really appreciate that.
You guys are getting lunch? Damn it.
And Steve, you could say Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak.
Okay.
I'm learning so many things today. I feel like just not eating and making you fast through the entire show is like method acting Reffy, who has also probably really shitty eating habits. So like, on the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So that goes through April 20th. So for the next few weeks, bear with our slightly eclectic streaming schedule and breaks.
I mean,
right.
Like, we are regularly 20 plus minutes late to start time, so I feel like this is par for the course, right?
True.
This time we have a reason.
Now it's official.
Right.
Yeah, now we have a reason. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for announcements. Rick, want to give us a Molten Homies dance party?
This is so chill
It's
for
like
coming down from a
lo-fi,
near-death
yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Viewers, just chill. Sit back and relax to some lo-fi beats.
We're walking back from the cradle.
Let's jump into episode 14 of Outlaws of Alkenstar, Cradle of Quartz, written by Scott D. Young.
Let's go.
Let's go. Welcome back. When we last left off, our outlaws fled the Cradle of Quartz, the Hound of Tyndalos howling in rage from within. The open-air desert provided a sense of safety and comfort from this thing that has hunted you for many, many days now. And you welcome the blistering heat as the late sunset here in the Spellscar Desert. Your airship is parked just a little bit away, maybe like a 30-minute jaunt or so outside the Tentacle Canyon, giving you guys a minute to sort of patch yourself up and just give you guys a story beat before we head back to the ship and head back to Alkenstar. So the scene sort of opens. Kosowana was unconscious, but you guys managed to stabilize and bring him back. He's sitting there, sort of silent, just kind of like sitting on a rock. He's got his knees kind of pulled into his chest, his arms sort of wrapped around as he just kind of stares idly off towards the setting sun in the distance. Definitely lost in thought and a little distant from you guys.
Likewise, I think Saruk is quiet and just kind of like still walking, trudging towards where the airship is parked.
You alright, Ruffy?
After you patched me up, I'm feeling a bit better.
Alright.
Not quite as soft as I thought, but 6 out of 10 would pet doggo again.
No. Who's to say, like, you'd even go to the right place if it killed you? Like, you could have been stuck at a timey-wimey whatever.
I hadn't even thought of that. Would I become one of them priests of Barai?
I don't know. I'm just glad you didn't fucking die. Because then I would have maybe, you know, and then I lean into whisper to Ruffy, because I wouldn't know what I would have done towards Kosowana if you died.
We got out of it fine, didn't we?
Sure.
And you still got Wybert, don't you?
Wybert's just trudging along. Yeah. I couldn't even ride him right now. That would be nice. Then I actually give I pack 2 bulk into Wybert's booty because I am encumbered.
You know, he's not quite as big, but he can still fit quite a bit of junk in Wybert's trunk.
That was the goal, really. But I do miss everything else that we brought. They're all up in there in the airship. Halbrand, Saruk, how much longer do you think before we get there?
We'll get there when we get there.
Oh, bollocks.
Time is a construct.
As evidenced by just nods silently and keeps walking.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
If both of you stop that, I will buy you Chalky when we get back to Alkenstar.
Be as quiet for the rest of the way.
The camera's held there, and as you guys kind of walk away from the camera, like silhouettes on the setting sun, just like, are we there yet? And like Daddy Saruk having to like chide you and promise you candy when you get back to Alkenstar. You're pulling away, and you can kind of see like
thumbs up to Annie.
What we see here is like the lettering on the screen gets big, and it's like, you know, chapter 4, the Steaming Kingdom, which is the name of the last chapter of our adventure. And so it doesn't take long. You do notice that when the sun does set, instantly the sort of wind chill dips considerably here. The sound of a rumbling mana storm on the horizons. Who knows what kind of crazy magic it might bring. How you can kind of hear and smell a little bit of rain on the horizon. So it seems like it's probably a good idea to get back to the ship or somewhere to high land, because you know that when it rains out here, this dry earth will just literally not absorb any of the water, and it can flash flood in an instant. No problem, because there on the horizon, right where you left it, sort of hovering off the ground, anchored, maybe about like 10 feet floating over the surface, is Second Kiss, the airship that you guys rode here all the way from Alkenstar. You can see the lights on from the inside. The sort of engines are currently turned off, and it's just being kind of hovered with its sort of gas-powered blimp on top and anchored to the ground so it doesn't float away. It's like right there. You guys can like easily make it there. Yeah, like you kind of stop, take a moment. Your last chance. You look back, right? This is the Cradle of Quartz. This is your last chance before you kind of head home back to civilization. If there's anything else you'd like to do in this moment, this would be the time. Otherwise, we can just go to the ship.
I think Hal would start jogging towards the ship a little hastily, and as he passes Sabruk, he's gonna tap him on. Well, he can't really. Well, he can reach his shoulder, but he's gonna give him a little hit as he runs by, and he's just gonna say, "Good job, Sabruk." And then kind of smile and run towards the ship.
I think Sir just turns and follows.
Much as he likes the desert, it's he's happy to get out of this part of the desert.
And so we kind of have this Hal running, Saruk following. Kosowana is kind of like, he's keeping up with you guys, but you can tell he doesn't have quite the happiness or pep in his step. And I think this is the first time you've probably noticed that he's come out of his shell a little bit. Seeing this airship here has sort of rekindled something inside of him, that engineer side of him, as he sees this, this sort of marvel, and he's a little excited for that. You can kind of see there's a little glimmer in his eyes being presented with a little bit of technology once again. And as you guys sort of hustle up towards the ship, you hear the like undocking of the door. So there's like a side door that opens, and then there's like a sort of ramp that lowers all the way to the ground so that you guys can get in. And as the door like opens, you see like a little halfling man like kind of pop out and wave like, "Made it
somehow, Captain."
He's like, "Oh, come in. She's tied up with work right now," and like waves you up into the ship.
Up we go.
Yeah, this is Hiram, the halfling businessman.
It's gonna like immediately try to find where she is.
Why don't you give me a so come into the ship really quick. He sort of like reaches out and he like shakes your hand as you sort of come in. Are you the first one up, Saruk, you think?
If Hal is like dead sprint to ship, he might beat me, but
Definitely not sprinting, but just kind of a brisk jog.
there's probs like Hal, then Saruk, then the...
So he shakes Hal's hand first and like claps you on the back and then moves to the side so you can kind of come into the ship. But yeah, you can come in, Saruk. As you come in, just, like you're calling for the captain. There's no immediate response. You can go ahead and give me a perception check real quick as you call to hear if you can see like where the captain is. And like Anita and Refi are kind of coming up with Kosowana. And Hiram looks a little confused as he sort of like, we got a new friend here.
Yes, his name is Kosowana. He was really the reason why we're here in the first place.
Oh, Kosowana. Oh, nice to meet you. As he like shakes like Kosowana's hand and like he's like, oh, it's cold. Come on in, and ushers you all in. Saruk, you go in. You call for the captain, like Captain Farah. She's not on, like right where you guys come in is right where the bridge is, and you sort of poke your head in there. You don't see her, and Hiram is just sort of like, oh, she's it's her turn to sleep. She's up in her bunk.
Who's in charge right now then?
I guess that'd be me.
Can you fly this thing?
You're in a hurry. As he's like working on like he's kind of struggling as a halfling to like turn the crank to like raise the bridge.
I'll like lean in, help him. Not in a hurry, but I know Farah wanted to get out of here, and our business is concluded.
Hey, Refikil, what was that channel you were listening to for all the music? Maybe you can go in the bridge and turn that on again.
So we're back in the airship.
Yeah, you're back in the airship. Everything's fine. Like Saruk's closing it. We got Hiram on the bridge. Yeah, what would be like the first thing like Ruffy's looking to do?
Hasn't said a word since we first began, so he just walks in, heads over to the bar, and says, "As much chalky as I want. I heard that."
We aren't back! Don't be like this! But also break out something, find whatever you all want to drink. We deserve to celebrate. I start pulling out the... I guess I'll just call them what they are. The assorted gems and valuable objects stolen from the Temple of Pride. My conscience is clean. It's a Temple of Yogg-Sothoth, goddammit.
Right? Like how bad? You can't feel that bad about it, right?
My conscience is clean.
Okay, so Saruk, you like go and join Refi like on the deck.
Just a quick, like, get this thing off the ground. Let's get back to Alkenstar.
You see Estery, the sort of like halfling woman, the sister halfling kind of comes down the stairs as you go past, and she sees you guys kind of go out to the bar. She's like, oh, what are we celebrating?
We're celebrating our victory.
And you sort of push past. And so Refi and Saruk out on the bar. I'm not really sure what Halbert and Anita are doing before we take off.
Where Anita would have probably stayed with Kosowana a little bit to make some small talk.
Just randomly, I did what I like dragged Kosowana's token to a scene, and it gives him one of those random adjectives. Now we have like sexy Kosowana.
Yeah, he is.
You see Kosowana looks almost like he's in here and he's like looking at the marvel of it all, but like he's a little overwhelmed, and he's sort of like just kind of standing right like by the inside, and you see like Hiram has noticed that he's like a little out of sorts. And he doesn't like, grab him by the shoulder because he's a halfling, but he sort of like kind of grabs him by the hand. He's like, let's get you something to eat, buddy. And it kind of pulls him into like a booth near, this is a dining hall, so it was like a booth. So he kind of like pulls and sits with Kosowana in a booth, and you can sit with him if you want her.
Yeah. And like as we wait for our orders, Anita would just look at Kosowana and ask, so what do you have planned when we go back to Alkenstar? Because as far as I know, I think you ran away from the temple. Are you showing your face back to or?
Well, actually, I was asked to leave by a few months ago, so I'm not exactly welcome back there. I don't know. Seems kind of pointless at this point. Fire Knight's gonna screw everything up anyways.
So you made the formula for Pyronite and you just left it in your lab? Is that correct? For anyone to grab?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like that was the plan or anything, They kind of busted in guns a-blazing, and well, I was gonna solve the problem my way, right? I go back in time and deal with the problem at its source. It wouldn't have mattered.
I don't think so. There's always like a rule when it comes to like time and space and like time travel. Even if let's say Gattleby never did it, someone else would have. Humans or creatures are innately curious. They always want something bigger, better. So at some point it still would have been made.
Come from the Temple of Bry, like that's sort of our thing. We invent things. We kind of shape the future of Alkenstar. We'd have rules and regulations and people overseeing to make sure it didn't fall into the wrong hands. But an idiot like Gattleby can do it.
That sounds a little condescending, don't you think? Just because maybe Gattleby isn't like a follower of Bry? I'm not defending him. He's an asshole, but
I guess. I mean, in my experience, people that don't dedicate themselves to the rules and regulations and the lessons that we've taught are destined to do nothing but screw things up. Of course, he kind of gazes out the window. Guess I ended up there anyways, didn't I?
Yeah, I was just going to say, but I'm glad that you realized that yourself. You're also this close. At one point when I thought like my friends were going to die, I really wasn't going to hesitate on just offering you up to that time dog.
Probably was the smarter choice, to be honest. I don't know why you guys stuck your necks out for me.
Saruk is a very, very good person. He puts us in line, and Halbrent is also a good person. Refi and I, however, I'd like to think I'm a good person, but I know them more than I have known you. They've saved me more. Or they've been there for me more, whereas you put us in that situation.
I didn't expect someone to come looking for me, or at least someone that wasn't my friends.
I mean, that's the nice thing about life, yeah? Like, sometimes we always think we're alone, and then we turn back and there's people looking for us.
Here, here, and he like hits his like hand, like this lass has got the cheer. Wherever you go, Kosowana, there's always someone looking for you. And he like kind of like tries to shake him out of his funk. How? While this conversation's going on, what are you doing? You're the only one I'm not really accounted for at this point.
Go say hello to all my friends.
Which ones specifically? Like the friends that are here, like your other friends?
Other friends.
Oh, you're going to Celeste's room.
Take a nap. It's a long walk.
Hal, you head upstairs towards like the cabins and such. Why don't you give me a perception check as you move through the cabin? Tommy and, or sorry, Saruk and Rethi, you guys are on the bar. Once again, you guys threw the bartender overboard, so there's nobody like here that's like a server. So you guys are forced to like serve yourself. And Anita's also waiting for someone to serve, but there's no one on the board. 29. You head up and you start heading for Celeste's room. I think you get up into the hallway, and I think Hal get a little like almost like the hairs on the back of your neck like stand up as you hear something that is very odd to you. That oddity is actually the absence of sound. It is dead quiet here on the ship. There's a lot of people on this ship. There's a lot of people that are constantly talking, being boisterous, just generally living their lives. And this many people in such a compressed space, it's hard to get silence. And yet, as you step up into the top floor and make your way towards Celeste's door, absolute silence.
Is there anything that looks out of place?
With a 29, I think you look, you're kind of like standing right near Celeste's door, and there is the subtlest hints of forced entry around the lock. Like a little bit of like splintered wood, would almost look like somebody used like a crowbar to sort of pry the wood away to gain access to this door. And it hangs just ever so subtly, not closed.
I think I would probably pull my Kopesh and then have my shadow open the door. As quieter silently. I want to slink and disappear if there's no light coming through.
Yeah, you sort of like use a shadow to open the door. It's dim in here. It's night, so there's no light. You're able to do that. Your shadow sort of opens the door. The door sort of pushes open, and you see lying in bed under the covers, kind of like blankets pulled up, the sleeping body of Celeste. Only she's not sleeping, is she? Very clearly across her throat is slit, and the pool of dark blood has gone all over her blankets. You stand here at the door, the corpse of Celeste lying in bed.
I think Hal's more worried about his friends, and he's gonna go to the next door, and then you can cut back at that point. I think Hal like looks, sees it, and then he quietly goes to the next door.
Hal comes to the next door, and we see sort of sitting at the table, the laughing, smiling face of Hiram, the halfling merchant, sitting in a booth next to Kosowana, sitting across from Anita with Wybert sort of standing by, out on the back of the bar, just sort of relaxing, having a drink, just sort of decompressing Refi and Saruk. And we get a camera shot like under the bar of Hiram, like, don't worry, Kosowana, wherever you go, there's always somebody looking for you. And his hand is like reaching under the table, and you see sliding out from a concealed holster a golden gun. And I would like everyone to roll initiative for me, please.
The bumblebees are here.
Wait, have we healed?
Yes, you can heal up to full. I don't think you've done that on your tokens, but definitely, we did like a narrative level up, so go to level 7 and then.
I feel like we do not have scouting.
Ooh, this one probably not so much. Good call.
I got that master proficiency. Let's go.
17.
21.
That's a 31 for Refi.
31 for Estery. Hiram's got a pretty low, but tied with Anita. We'll just say, like, for Hal's sake, you look at Celeste's room, you see the dead body in the bed, and I think you might even catch Hiram's voice at that point, making some snide comment. over the quiet of the ship. Would you like to stay up here, or would you like to head right down and be like on the stairs at the start of initiative?
I think Hal would continue to look to see if anybody else is here. Maybe there's somebody in the midst of doing it since it just became dark. So maybe he's thinking, hey, I'm going to come up here and maybe I catch somebody in the act of doing something.
Perfect. So I'll just roll initiative for you. And when it's your turn in initiative on the other map, we'll cut back and see what you're doing.
I have Battlefield Surveyor, so it gives me a +2 in initiative.
You got a 30-6, so congratulations on that one.
Awesome.
All right, so Hal, you are first in initiative. You're upstairs, you're scouting, you're outside of Celeste's room, but you wanted to check somewhere else, so what would you like to do?
I'll go to the next room that I know of. So is this Celeste's room here, or is it here?
This is Celeste's room here where you are. The door open. You see her dead body here.
I think how would Stride interact to have his shadow open the door? My sword's already out, so he would the shadow would open the door. See anybody in there?
Let's see. So this room, you would see another. There's actually another like sort of bound body. Not moving on the floor here, and from the look of the clothing, it looks to be Vashon Gattleby.
And I think I would stride to the next room up ahead. What's that button? He can get to here, right?
Yeah, that's the sort of crew quarters.
Crew as in
The goblin?
The goblins sort of sleep upstairs in the sort of engine room, but that room at the very end was where what was it, Davil? Was that his name? Or the guy you threw off the ship? Lucky.
So I think I would continue to stride here to look, just to see.
You get all the way to the end. That door's wide open, and you peer in there, and it's completely empty. There's no one there.
Okay, that's 3 actions.
Back on the flight deck. Going slightly before Refi, just because Ty goes to the NPC. You look up, Refi, and you see Estery sort of like at the door where you guys are, and she kind of looks through the thing at you guys, and she gives you this weird looking smile, as on the inside she sort of like deadbolt locks the door on you. That's one action. And then she sort of turns and strides back here, and she's kind of standing at the table like kind of right at your side, Anita. And you notice that for her third and final action, she draws a golden like coat pistol, like a dueling pistol that's solid gold, out of her jacket. That's all she can do with her 3 actions.
I'm gonna delay my turn saying, Tusk, get that door fucking open.
Already standing up, chair is like knocked back.
Yep, delaying the turn. All right, Saruk.
Hockey dokey. Well, since you asked so nicely, I'm gonna run up to the door. I'm going to... Oh, God.
There's that sort of like glass like window on it, so you can see in that now she's kind of got up, and she's got this golden pistol aimed right where Kosowana is.
Got it. So checking all of my skills and all of my everything, I borrowed the thieves' tools that I no longer have. So why, yes, I will get that door open, but I'm gonna do it with my backpack ballista.
All right, we're attacking the door.
Very much. Should I don't know if you want me to roll to hit the thing or...
Let's just roll damage.
All right, sounds good. So second action, I interact to draw my... There's a part of me that wants to devise a stratagem and target the door. Blam! Please roll well. The door takes 15 piercing damage.
I'm looking how much like wood, like a wooden door would have a hardness of like 5 with a broken threshold of 10. So you deal 10 points of damage, which is exactly enough to sort of break through a thin wooden door. So this isn't like a super high security door. So the backpack pistol launches out and hits the door, and it splinters into like a bunch of wood that like rains and kind of shatters inward down the hallway in the middle of the ship. But yeah, that door is now non-existent. I'm not even gonna open it. I'm deleting the door.
I'd say drop your weapons, but I think we're past that.
Yeah, I think you might have one more action.
I had to move there, then I had to draw my weapon, then I had to attack.
Oh, that's right. You did have to draw it. That's right. I'm guessing, Ruffy, you'd like to go next?
I would. Damn, I can't see them, can I? No.
Can't see them from where you are now.
Reffy, bumblebees.
No, I know, but to have the free stride, I have to be able to see an enemy. But I can still take out my pistol as a free action.
I think. Well, what's the wording say? Is what's the name of it?
Into the fray. It's my drifters.
So into the fray. So it says you can stride near an enemy you can perceive. I think perceiving's more than just vision. Sound-wise, you saw them, like, you know generally where they are. It's not like you're not aware of an enemy around you. You know where they are and where they are. So in my opinion, you perceive where the enemies are and you can stride toward them.
I'm not gonna argue with the gift. All right.
It doesn't say see. It says perceive.
All right. So I draw my pistol, and I stride 25 feet, and I'm going to shoot this halfling woman in the back of her head.
Okay. Let's see.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Okay, well, 36 on the dice. That's a critical hit. 18 on the dice plus 18. Yeah, that's a crit.
That's 1 on one of them.
So 26 points of damage. Not quite the like center of the head shot that you'd like to completely brain her, but it's a solid chunk. It sort of like comes across the side of her head like you intended, just doesn't fully blow up her head. She must make a fortitude save or become stunned 1. 14, so 27 just makes the save. So she's not stunned 1.
Mm-hmm. Second action, running reload. And third action, I would like to
Just pointing out how this is about the time when you're upstairs checking doors, you hear a gunshot ring out below.
Will I see her partner have any sort of weapon as well?
You can see he's going for something under his coat, but he doesn't currently have anything out because he hasn't taken his turn.
Alright, if I see him going for something... We spent a lot of fucking time getting this man out of that goddamn cradle. I nearly died. You're not fucking killing him. The only one killing him would be me. And I'm gonna use cover fire on that bastard halfling. So he either has to take cover, or I get a plus to shoot him.
If he takes cover, it affects his next shot too, right?
Yeah, he gets a -2 circumstance penalty to any range attack.
This guy is not super brave or anything, so as he sees you coming in, yeah, he'll take the cover.
Alright, so I will fire.
He ducks, he sort of like scoots down under the table just a little bit to like hide from your shot, Reppy.
Yeah, he gets a +2 to his AC.
That's just cover he gets, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a 25.
It's not a crit, but it is a hit.
I'll take it.
Even as he like hides down under the table.
10 damage.
Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't roll for Kosowana.
Just gonna hide under the table.
Sexy Kosowana. I'm just gonna make him go after you since he didn't go yet. Yeah.
Alright. That is the end of my turn, though.
I think Kosowana climbs up over the back of the booth you guys are in and sort of jumps for cover sort of behind here. It's gonna take him like his whole action to sort of climb up and over the back of the seat and get here. And I think his second action will just be to sort of take cover behind the wall. So he actually gives himself cover. And in fact, he's gonna just take. He's not only taking cover, he's actually spending an action to take like greater cover to defend himself as much as he can back here. He's not a fighter. All right, Hiram, who he now has a penalty, right?
Yeah, -2 circumstance penalty to range attacks until the end of its next turn. So until the end of this term, he has a -2 to range attacks.
So Hiram here is kind of like, you idiots led us right to him. We've been under your noses this whole time. Boss says, doesn't come back alive. And from where he is, he tries to like shoot Kosowana through cover, through all his penalty. All right, let's see. 2 on the dice with a big penalty. So it should be actually less than that because he has a -2 penalty. So it's a critical miss on Kosowana. He fires wildly and it hits the booth and it doesn't work. Second action is to, I guess the second action will just be to reload his dueling pistol, which is a manipulate action, but no one has an opportunity attack near him. I don't think. Wybert doesn't have one, right? He didn't get one at 7th level.
Unfortunately.
I think he sort of comes out of the booth and spins around here right out in the open with his gun ready, sort of pointed at Kosowana again. But he missed with his one shot of the turn. Anita, you've watched all this unfold, and I think maybe the adrenaline has caused you to sort of see everything unfolding in slow motion. But finally you snap out of it. It's your turn to act.
What the fuck? She says, and then so she would know that Kosowana kind of like went towards this direction, right? She saw that. All right. So first action, quick alchemy for a smoke stick. Second action, throwing it to give Kosowana cover right here. So those 4 squares.
How could I forget about our smoke sticks? The Kosowana
Best item in the fucking game.
goes up and makes a 10-foot square of smoke in this side of the cabin.
Yes, sir. And then third action, I'm gonna throw like a bottled lightning to this fella right here.
So you don't have, do you have the, what is it, the quick throw that lets you draw and attack as a single action?
Oh, no, I don't. So for my third action, I'll just draw it.
Draw bottled lightning? Okay.
Draw bottled lightning, and then Wybert gets a free action, so he'll attack this lady right here.
All right, Ruffy's providing flat-footedness.
Cool. So Wybert smash. Hold on. 24 to hit.
Yeah, that is a hit.
Cool. 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right, Wybert smash. It's a nice solid punch. Her face is like bloodied and bruised, getting beat up. She's looking rough, but she's hanging in there.
That's the end of my turn.
Top of the round, we go to Halbrant.
I think Halbert's going to start running back after he hears the gunshot. So I got 15 more.
Come out. You come down the stairs. Yeah, she's right here. You can see the chaos unfolding.
Yeah, running down the stairs. I think he leaps the bottom half of the stairs with his Kopesh out, and he's going to strike this person as he jumps down. Or, sorry, well, can I? No, because Wybert's there. But yeah, here we go. Wacha. Wacha. Wacha.
Oh, that's a natural 20.
Good. So good at Pathfinder.
I will say, so this is happening. She is getting crit, but I think as she's got her gun out and it's been pointing at Kosowana, as you come running down the stairs, she does get a reaction. As you come down at her with your Kopesh, I think her sort of like panic, like the weapon comes up towards you and she takes her shot of opportunity reaction, which allows her to make a ranged strike at you as you move in her range. So your crit will stand, but let's see if she can, hit you on the way out.
Hits by 1.
26 hits. Okay. You're going to take 7 points of damage as the shot it kind of glances off you, and then your Kopesh comes down and deals freaking 26 points of damage. No, sorry. 36 points of damage, which is enough to kill her. Since you definitely didn't declare non-lethal or anything. She's just run through.
I think as his form almost changes shape as he swells up and his snout grows a little bit as looks like he's getting ready to go into his hybrid form. But that is 3 actions. Stride, strike.
Guess who's not getting a turn? The halfling.
The dead.
That brings us to Saruk.
Okay, so sightlines are probably less than great right now. I think first things first, there has to be my Roll20 brain is lying to me about what macros are. Heck, I can stride once to get there. I'll go forward 3 and over 1 diagonally, essentially climbing up into the booth. I think I probably should still have line of sight on this square. I don't know if these go like all the way to the ceiling.
They don't go all the way to the top. You definitely have line of sight down the hallway. Yeah.
Tight. So then I don't have the action economy at the moment. Oh God, I missed drawing a weapon as part of a move action. Okay, so he's still in 30 feet. I suppose action the second. Appreciate you. Yeah. For my second action, I'm gonna read all of these abilities that I have and never use. That probably isn't helpful. I think we're just gonna try to demoralize him. And make sure all the things are ticked. Guess I should have left the Guild and Gutters as a fucking lead.
Oh, so
Eh. The night is young, but I'm gonna hero point that. What's
Okay,
the worst
yeah,
thing that happened?
Same thing.
Same
How many
thing.
times does that
All the
happen?
time.
Too fucking many. Jesus.
It's not the worst technically.
I feel so bad because that happens so much. So yeah, it doesn't work, but take a hero point for double rolling the same number. So
Gee, thanks.
still another hero point to carry forward. It just didn't work in this instance.
Drop your gun and never fucking mind. And then third action, I'm going to interact to draw my Giselle and pass turn.
Right. I would like to running reload.
I think as you running reload, this triggers for Hiram. You give Hiram an opening, so he will use his shot of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
He will strike at you. 21's gonna miss. So the shot goes wide, flies like over you.
I'd imagine Refi almost dodges it a little bit as he's running up. Say, dear old Dad's standards have really dropped lately, haven't they?
Wait, what?
And I'm going to... how do I want to do this? I would like to... Yeah, shoot him first for my second action. Using, does he... No, he already shot. I'm just gonna shoot him straight up.
He just shot as you came up, yeah.
Yeah. But he still might try to shoot. I'm gonna use cover fire again. So I'm gonna point. You think I'm gonna miss? Grinning at him with bared fangs and my one red eye glaring.
So I kind of envision it, you're shooting to sort of like keep him from going closer to Kosowana. Yeah. And he has to choose. Yeah, he'll take the... You pop it in chat, but he'll take the cover file penalty.
Second action.
26 is a hit.
9 points of damage. And I would like to do reloading strike for my third action. And because I did a ranged attack within melee range, he is flat-footed to my next melee attack, which is this one. So let me... that in chat so you can put flat-footed out there. And I will strike him at map. You know what? I'm going to use the hero point.
All right, hero point. Daddy issues hero point. Oh, a little lower. I'm going to offer you the same deal in this situation. You get a hero point back for getting screwed by the hero point system.
That's how hero points work. But that's it on my turn. And he takes another -2 to all its range attacks.
Daddy issues.
All right. From in the cover, sexy Kosowana. So Kosowana is going to, from where he is in the cloud, you watch as like lobbed out of the cloud like a thunderstone like flies right at this halfling. guys, he had 1 Thunderstone on him. He never used against the Time Dog. So he is going to try to Thunderstone here. Oh my god, that's a critical hit.
Look at him.
But he has to pass the flat check because he is obscured. So Kosowana needs to get a 5+ on the D20.
Hey.
Yeah, he hits him. So as he's like battling Refi, this like Thunderstone hits him across the side of the head and like critically hits him. So it's gonna be 15 points of damage from the crash on him, and then there is a sonic outburst that's sort of like the sonic damage that goes outward and sort of like splinters the wood back in a 10-foot kind of radius, which also catches Refi in it. So I need you guys both to make fortitude saving throws. And Refi, you're also going to take the 1 splash damage. All right, Refi, you are deafened till the end of your next turn, so the whole world just goes and like you can't hear anything.
Refi's just cursing at the top of his voice at Kosowana. Not able to hear himself, just like, you mother.
Kosowana again decides to he's going to try to hide in the obscured condition he has. With an 11, you're all perfectly aware of where he's hiding, but he does take cover once again. That's Kosowana. That brings us to Hiram. First action reloads. Second action sneers at you, Refi, as he dives into the smoke cloud. He becomes obscured to you as he dives in with Kosowana between the smoke. And the third thing you hear is the gunshot from within. Actually, you don't even hear a gunshot. I think you just hear scuffling as like he's basically like punching at him. He's gonna try to knuckle duster Kosowana. 31 is going to be a hit, but not a crit thanks to the cover Kosowana took. But
doesn't have to do a flat check.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he does need a flat check. Flat check succeeds, so he does hit. And he deals a whopping 8 points of damage to poor sexy Kosowana.
All right, so Anita commands Wyvern to get the fucker out of there. So Wybert I'm gonna give Wybert 2 actions, so he gets 3. So can I do the shove action wherein, similar to Refi, he pulls him back instead of pushes him forward?
Yeah, we can try that.
Okay, so for the first action, Wybert's gonna move forward. And then shove. So here's Wybert's athletic
shove
check.
with the backwards pull. So we'll start with the athletics check. Actually, we'll start with the flat check.
Oh, the flat check. You're right. You're right.
So let's see if Wybert can reach in at the right place.
Come on, Wybert.
Yeah, no problem. Reaches in, grabs like the halfling, and now you can make the athletics check versus his.
Come on.
Fortitude, I believe, for shove.
Yeah, 23.
Just what you needed.
Oh, cool. So that's a success. So that's 5 feet back.
You grab the halfling, you and them like kind of get yanked out of the smoke, and Wybert stumbles out, and now Hiram is standing here.
And then he's gonna backhand this halfling with Wybert smash for his last action.
There is a map on this because shove is an attack action.
Yeah.
But feel free.
Huzzah! That's a 24.
That's a hit.
Cool. For 15 points of damage. Bludgeoning damage. And then, what does Anita do? Ah, man. Okay, I guess she'll go on overdrive. I just thought of that now. Here you go. Crafting check. 21.
I believe that's a failure at this level.
Because my heart wasn't in it. There you go. That's it for my turn.
Top of the round, Halbrent.
Where are they? Where are they? As he starts
on the other side of me.
They're right there, Halbrent.
I think Hal wants to tumble through as he strides towards this creature. Right, stride and then tumble through.
Well, tumble through includes the stride as part of it, so it's just a single action. But yeah.
Tumble through is an acrobatics check. And I say acrobatics. 28.
That is a critical success. Yeah, I will say, as you tumble through, it does a lot. He does provoke his ability to shoot using his shot of opportunity because he never shot in his turn. So he'll try to take that before you kill him, like you killed his sister. Oh, I think that's actually a hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Or 12 points of piercing damage.
And you see as Hal comes running down the stairs, he's like, where is he? And as he tumbles through, and then the dark leathers turn to a really bright white fur as he turns around and now is towering above this person. And Hal is going to use...
Ooh.
We've seen that before.
As I'm running, I release my sword as free action. As I just drop it out of my hands, and then I turn around and I open my big mouth and chomp on his head.
Your toothy maw.
The toothy maw. I think his eyes go wide in horror.
No.
Ooh, that's a miss.
Yes.
Yeah, hero point. We need a hero point.
That is
Ooh!
Hero point. See, that's how hero
That's a
points
good
are
use of
supposed
the
to
hero
work.
point.
From 2 to 19, that's a critical hit.
and a roll 1.
Roll 1, but it's still a lot of damage. He must make a fortitude save or be slowed 1. He makes the fortitude save, unfortunately.
All right, kids. Say it with me now. Untap, upkeep, devise a stratagem. And everything's even marked correctly. You know what? I got this hero point back. Surely I won't roll another goddamn 19, will I?
Axiom is a prophet because in chat before you rolled that, they said no. Hero points are supposed to turn a fail into a critical fail.
Of course you did, Axe. Thank you for that. That was helpful. Okay, so I don't have a shot. There are too many people. I think second action, Sirk's gonna go to where the person is cut and doesn't say anything, but I'm gonna just try to move through a wall that I can't. Damn this dining compartment! I'm gonna try to stabilize them. I don't know if they're just like gone forever, but I'm gonna just huck the medicine check at it.
I will allow you to stay. Yeah, so you're able to stabilize her enough that she is no longer dying. She is just unconscious and stable.
And that'll be my turn.
All right, just because I want to use it, I'm going to use Drifter's Juke. So I'm going to forego the first step, but I'm going to strike.
22, thanks to, yeah, that's a hit.
9 points of damage.
So that is enough to knock him out. I think your unarmed strikes are not lethal by default, unless you have some feature.
I think with Refi, they're lethal by default.
Oh, that wasn't doing because I don't know why I just thought it was a.
And my unarmed strikes are lethal by default because I'm I took the martial artist dedication.
You do, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, no. So with 9 points of damage, that's enough. You like blast and lethally
Before he falls
shoot.
to the ground, I step. I guess I can't step diagonally, huh? Never mind then.
But do it. It's flavor. It's over. The fight's over. Do your cool thing.
I was just gonna go over into that space, and yeah, to make sure that he can't run back there, and keep hitting him if he was still up. But as I disappear into the smoke, I just see him fall.
I think with that, the sort of threat is neutralized. Just to point out, these are the same stat blocks you fought in the library so many months ago when they kicked your butt.
Yeah, much easier after we've done the fucking...
Yeah, how far you've come, right? The threat of combat ends. This guy is dead. So you've managed to stabilize Estery. I think, Hiram is dropped unconscious, been killed. They were both killed lethally, but he's currently dying now. Like, Refi, Hal, are you guys finishing him off before Saruk can get there? Or are you just letting him bleed out?
I think so. Saruk's got a hand on wherever Hal cut the woman to stop her from bleeding. This is the information we need to find Mugland. And just pressure. What was that about Dad?
Anita is stuck, like, just looking to where Refi turned into and where Halbrand went, and then...
Hal just jumped off the ship.
I think Hal runs into the night, into the desert.
Oh, he really does? Okay.
Oh, because I was going to say Anita follows Hal.
Will you follow Hal off the ship out into the night?
I don't know where that he was going to go out in the night, but she was going to follow him.
At least run towards the door and see him scurrying off. Hal, are you just like running off into the desert night?
I think so. Like after like this overtook them a little bit and like what they've gone through, and then suddenly they're back here and these people are like double crossing them, and when it's time to kind of relax, and the people, who Hal by nature is a protector, and all these people have died, so now he's like gonna go do his thing.
So Nita, you run to the door following him. He's off into the night. You're kind of standing in the door. Do you follow? Do you stay?
I follow for as far as I could, but Anita gets into her senses and figures out that Hal is so much faster than her. So she quick alchemies like a beacon and then just shoots it up just to let him know that she tried to follow him before heading back in.
Back in the ship, Refi, Saruk, you're stable. You're keeping Esteri alive. And you're asking Refi about the father thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Refi steps out of the smoke, not even looking back at Kosowana. Saruk yells this out. And as Refi steps out of the smoke, looking around, all he sees is this Saruk going like this and just ringing in his ears. Because I'm still deafened.
I think it was just until the end of your turn, so at least it's gone away. Like mechanically, you can hear again. It's just you probably are like kind of drowned out. Everything's muted a little bit, but you can hear again.
Ringing in your ears fades. What was that about Dad?
So I step over dead body. I don't finish him off, but I make no move to help him either. Holster the dueling pistol. Ah, right. Don't think I've ever told you this, but for all intents and purposes, you could say Ambrose Mugland, maybe sort of a father figure to me. And as I walk past Saruk, and I'm like yelling this almost, like, because I can't really hear, like my volume isn't quite equalized yet. And I walk back to the bar to get drinks as I just casually say this.
Yeah, I think, can I like get off this woman and like she's not gonna bleed out and die? Well,
I got her, Saruk, and then I continue where he leaves off.
I'm just gonna follow behind Refi then. And that's how you're wrapped up in all this?
Pour like 3 of the sweetest liqueurs that I can find into a glass. 2 glasses. That's how I'm wrapped up in all this. Well, thrown up, you could say. I could get into all this now, but it's really what we want to be talking about at this moment.
It is. I've been trying to crack the puzzle that is you for as long as I've known you. Saruk like Rikers one of these chairs. Out with it.
Fair enough. Annie, you want a drink?
Yeah, sure, I'll follow. I'm just finishing up with this lady.
Take her weapons, put her somewhere secure.
I actually do, like both of them. Like I'm gonna grab all their stuff.
They have dueling pistols that are like solid golden color, and they each have tucked away. They have a golden silencer as well. I think you should be able to loot their bodies for real, but they do have this sort of golden silencer that can screw on the end of it.
Ooh.
Golden Silence PP7. So I hand Saruk the drink. I'm trying to copy Lucky's drink that Refi actually really liked. I've been trying to copy it since we threw him off the ship. But I'm just taking anything that smells sweet and just pouring it and mixing it together. I hand you the drink. So, what do you want to know?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it.
It's a long story.
We've got a long trip back.
Guess we can kind of gloss over the beginning parts, you know. Typical story of Alkenstar. Orphan. Never knew my parents. Stuck in some godforsaken orphanage. Forced to work in the factories. On Smokeside. Figured I didn't want to end up dead at the tender age of 7. Or losing a limb. So I ran away. Lived on the streets for a while, thieving. Doing what I could to survive. Till, one day I guess I pickpocketed the wrong or right person, depending on your perspective. I was caught. Thought for sure that my number had been punched, but instead, the halfling man that I tried to pickpocket started to laugh. Brought me back to his home, trained me, and raised me. I guess some people would argue about the raising part, but that halfling man was Ambrose Mugland. Trained me to kill for him.
From the age of 7.
I mean, I didn't kill anyone for him until I was at least 10, so.
There's a very clear... The wheels of starting to push back on that start to spin up, and then they stop.
One night, Mugland called me over to his office, said that someone was wanting to duel him. And as it was my job to be a stand-in for any duels, that I was to head over to the Fingers, over there in Skyside, and I would find the man on one of the penthouses who wanted to duel. Wouldn't be the first time. Some rich upstart thought that they could take on Mugland, so I headed over. Got to the Fingers. Was shown to the penthouse. Security was lax. These kind of things late at night, you know. Gold is passed around and certain measures are taken for these kind of activities. Man was there. Fit the description I was given by Mugland. Seemed a bit odd though. Bit sluggish. Wide-eyed. If he was drunk, that's not my problem. Not ready for the duel. Shot and killed him. Before he even had a chance to draw. Before the smoke cleared from my pistol, I was blinded by light. I hear blaring from all directions that I was under arrest for killing a shield marshal.
That sounds incredibly familiar.
Before I could make 2 cents of it, they fired upon me. I tried to take cover, stumbled back, and fell to what I thought would be the end. But wouldn't you know it, a kind old orcish doctor found me in the trash heaps being taken away from Skyside. I was still alive. Barely. That's how Kojak and Annie found me. I think you know pretty much the rest of the story from there.
I do. I won't say that I'm sorry because I think you would think I'm patronizing you. Rather, what I'll give you is what you've had this whole time. Stands up, extends hand. We'll find the bastard.
Wouldn't you know the voice that I heard out calling from that blinding light? We've heard before. Or we've heard again after, I should say.
Do it, Steve. Do it.
I can almost hear her yelling out in my head.
Far away somewhere.
I wasn't mentally prepared for this. I really am not mentally prepared for this. 1 second.
You are under arrest for the murder of that guy over there who was a shield marshal.
Trying to get my French accent back in my voice. Farewell, old Jack. Blows the smoke from the end of it.
It was Angelique Lovelace. And I shake Saruk's hand. I have no doubt we'll get the bastards.
We will. Halbert!
He's not here.
How long is Hal going to be off in the desert for? Like for a while?
I imagine probably for a while. He's going to forage for some lizard tails.
Is that how he decompresses?
Stress eating.
So I think we'll just do like a bit of a montage here as you guys kind of go through the ship.
Gatoby's dead.
You sort of come up to the rooms, and you see the door that Hal's already opened, and you see Celessa dead, throat slit in her sleep in her bed. You see Vashon Gattleby, hands bound and tied at the wrists behind his back, shot, dead.
Fuck.
You see the co-captain, Dezen Drakes, the like happy-go-lucky, nothing ever gets me down, shot, dead, killed. Find Farrah Winslow, bound, gagged, but alive. Her captain's quarters. Up in the engine room, Dolby has survived. Gelbin has not. The bare minimum, keep this thing afloat, has been left alive, along with your bodies, and along with Kosowana no. The last thing we sort of see with this like kind of like silent montage thing is like Estery, who's been kept alive, barely brought to consciousness. I'm assuming you guys have her bound, but her eyes open, and you guys, you know, whoever's gonna be questioning her can be like standing like right over her as she wakes up. Her eyes look around as she realizes what's happened, and she just smiles wide.
Hit her, Wybert.
Do you want to take point on this? Because I'll let you.
You did find in her pocket, though, while she was unconscious when you were going through it, besides what you looted off her body, there was this sort of strange crystal that you had found, Anita.
Mm-hmm.
Its function is something very similar to what you'd use back in Blithir, which is to say it's like a voice recording stone that can record and play back sounds. And as you play it back, you hear your voices, the Outlaws, at Kosowana's workshop. You hear your voices on there talking about going after Kosowana 227. Then it fades out.
Did Annie heal both of them?
No, just one.
Yeah, I think only Estery survived.
All right, so Refi's not gonna do any of the questioning, but what he does do is he drags her brother, or her partner, he doesn't know the relationship of them, dead body, up into the booth across from her, and just sits arm around the dead corpse, drinking across from her.
And I think, like, partially because Anita has grabbed the reins and I want to see her do this, and partially because we're now on like 20% of a fucking airship crew, I think Saruk is going to spend the time just familiarizing himself with how a ship works, taking care of the people who are alive, and prepping for his, I guess, helping fly this thing back to Alkenstar. And also, like, giving Refi the space to process. I think there's he wouldn't say it out loud, but if the camera could see the front of his face, it's concerning, it's not good at all, and it's going to end somewhere that's a million miles from savory, but so are the Gilded Gunners, and so are Alkenstar at large. So if there's some nugget in there for the traumatized child that grew up to be a fucking assassin, then so be it.
And I think maybe as we go to break, you just hear the last thing you hear, the face of black is like hit him again, Wybert. And then the
smash.
Thud. Yeah, the thud of just like robotic hands smashing on like flesh. And we can fade to break. Been waiting for that bombshell to drop for a while.
I bet you have, Steve. Jeez.
So yeah, they were gilded gunners, and when you guys were recruiting people at the thing, and they knew about you guys from the workshop, they slipped in and have gone relatively unnoticed. Although I will say, Reficule constantly said, "Don't trust the halflings." The whole airstrip, and everyone's like, "Not all halflings are bad, Refi."
Manifesting.
These ones actually were. The only real sign that you would have known that anything was wrong is that they had golden guns packed away in their suitcases the entire time, with orders to not let Kosowana return to Alkenstar. But luckily, despite everything, Kosowana has survived. You guys are bringing him back to Alkenstar after all.
We just swapped out Gattleby for Kosowana.
I said this on our Discord, but I'm going to say it so Twitch can hear. I realized when we got back to the ship, oh wait, Kosowana and that dude he's beefing with are on the same boat, and they have to be on the same boat for several weeks. Oh no. But now this.
Yeah, we kind of traded Gattleby for Kosowana. So
we don't trade lives.
You you had to promise Phoebe that you would not let anything happen to Gattleby too when you took him on this mission. So while we're at break, go ahead and take this time to support us here at Recall Knowledge. You can head over to twitch.tv/recallknowledge and give us a follow. We have subscriptions. If you have Amazon Prime, send it this way. We'll take it. Over on youtube.com/recallknowledge, a great place to subscribe. No cost. Get access to all our previous shows, notified of all upcoming shows, etc., etc. And we're going to be back in about 10 minutes with more Outlaws of Alkenstar, so don't go anywhere. Cradle of Quartz is being left behind. They're going to pick up the pieces from this sad moment. Guys, we got exciting stuff around the corner because this chapter is called The Steaming Kingdom. I can't wait to show you guys what's happening just 10 minutes away, so don't go anywhere.
Steaming is for sure.
Well, to be fair, all of this trauma is just trauma that I put on you guys.
Bolts.
Sort of. It's a logical conclusion of who was recruited on the airship. We'll be back. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Never trust a half.
And we are back. Second half of this episode with Anita questioning, in heavy air quotes, Estery. There is this sort of before we see anything, we just kind of come back from commercial break with a black screen, and it's just the thud of robot on flesh. They hit him again, Wybert, and then the sort of fades in. There's just a close up of a bloody tooth missing. You know, she's sitting there. She looks really horrible, breathing heavily. Spits out some blood and looks up at Anita haven't even asked me anything.
Oh no, that was for Vash and Gattleby. Before I continue, Ruffy, do you know who this person is?
No fucking clue.
All right.
Do you know who she is? As I turn towards her dead partner.
That's right. I forgot we had that.
And I shake. I turn his head.
That's perfect. That means I don't need to hold back. So, you work for the Gilded Gunners, correct?
Well, genius here, aren't you? College chick, right?
No. All right, so why was it necessary to kill everyone else on this ship if you just wanted to kill Kosowana?
Got in our way. Can't have him poking around that sheriff. Well, we both know she had it coming, right? Field Marshal Celesta, come on. This one would have done it if not us. Motions over at Ruffy.
I just shake her dead partner's head again. No. And take a drink.
So Kosowana here. Kosowana, come over here. Stop hiding. Come on. Sit down here.
Kosowana does the teenager thing where he sulks over and just sits. Won't even he's looking away. He doesn't want to make eye contact with what's going on here.
So our friend over here that we just rescued from the Cradle of the Quartz, right? Has said that your friends have maybe picked up a copy of the Pyronite formula he just left on the workbenches of his lab. Have you heard anything about that? Better tell the truth.
Doesn't matter now, does it? What do I have to lie? Yeah. Yeah, they got it.
What are they doing with it?
She smiles. No answer comes.
Rafi, do you remember that gig that we did for Miko? With that accountant that started embezzling his money?
The accountant. Ha right. Bit of a mess that ended up.
Yeah, I believe you said that they didn't need their hands anymore. Is that correct?
Hands, toes, ears. I mean, what's the point, really?
Then as Rafi's saying that, I reach over and grab like her hands and look at the fingers.
So let's do a coercion check here.
Can Rafi take the lead on that one?
So coercion is an intimidation check against the target's will DC.
And again, as I'm pointing out each of these body parts, except for the toes, I don't want to go down there. I'm like playing with the corpse's hands and like pulling on his ears to make his head go back and forth.
Take a +2 dead brother circumstance bonus.
All right, intimidation.
Yes, it is in fact her actual brother.
Brother bonus.
We'll see how well you're able to coerce.
That's a 29.
So that's a success, not a critical success, but it is a success. You break her. All right. Leave my brother alone. My hands. We don't need to go that far. I don't think you can stop him anymore anyways. It doesn't matter. What are they doing with it? You got big plans. Big payday coming. You heard how expensive we are, right?
I mean, with the upkeep of your equipment, sure.
Old guns ain't cheap. Do you have any idea how much gold-colored clothing I have to wear?
Not to mention all the honey.
Is this one going on about honey? Like, just looks right at any there.
The bumblebees. But go ahead.
Fine. Mugland, well, let's just say he didn't have enough money to cover our finder's fee. So we're sort of holding this pyronite as collateral. If it all shakes out and things work out, we'll pull a job. Mugland and us will be square. Fails, well, Sabrosa's got other plans for Mugland.
Sabrosa, Anita looks at Refi. Is that name familiar to you?
Make an underworld lore check.
It's the Queen Bee. Her real name's Beyonce.
I don't fucking know who Beyonce is, Refi. I'm more of like an indie fella. Okay.
Blind GM roll. Hacha.
Okay, blind GM roll it is. Yeah, you've heard the name before. Sabrosa's her last name. It's Sabora Sharkosa is her actual name. She is not only is her name instill a lot of fear and power in the underworld, she is a practitioner of the martial arts as well. And she is in the running for being one of the most feared duelers in all of Alkenstar. And I think that's where Ruffy knows Sabora from, is, you've heard her name on the circuit in some of the sort of circles that I come up, but you never had the pleasure of meeting. You've just heard Some people say she's even faster than you. And now apparently she has risen to become the leader of the Gilded Gunners, based on what this person's telling you.
And I cast exposition and say all that.
She's the one that loves the gold, really. It's kind of her first thing, the status symbol.
You mentioned earlier if it works or not. So I'm assuming you mean the Pyre Knight. So how would you know that the formula that you took from, oh, what's his name? Kosowana's lab really is the one? Are you testing it out?
He looks around at the ship and her dead brother.
Not you, idiot, but your group.
Listen, we've been with you guys for what? Going on 6-7 days now? I don't know what the fuck they've been up to back home. But yeah, my guess is they've got it working by now.
You're not hearing anything from this talisman right here that keeps playing our voices?
That's just a clockwork spy we use sometimes. Placed a few of those in Kosowana's lab in case someone came looking for him. One of them buzzed on home, brought us your voices. Heard you talking about an airship of some sort, so we skedaddled over and found you. We were told, in no uncertain terms, Kosowana's not to come home. I would have let you live. Maybe.
Let us live. Look at this. Did you hear that, Ruffy?
I did. Didn't know she was a comedian as well.
So Anita sits back on the booth and just continues looking at her. She tells Wyber to power down, and then she thinks for a minute. You know, before I've met Saruk and before I've met Halbrand, I really wouldn't have a problem getting rid of you. Actually, I would have had a conscience about it because of my dad. However, my best friend over here has no problem.
I don't have that anymore. I tip my horn.
What makes the possibility of mercy very complicated is that the people you killed has made it very personal for lots of the people that are left alive on this ship. The other one hasn't come back yet. I don't know if he's going to be able to bring you mercy. However, it's safe for me to assume that he's a little bit more forgiving than I am because he's let my best friend live. So we're going to wait and maybe try to vote democratically for where your life is going to end up. But my vote is for you to stay here in the desert, have you fight for your life.
I don't know about that, Annie. Maybe we wait till we get airborne. See if she's feeling lucky.
Number one, we all know the big green guy is not letting you kill me. You already tried once and he saved me.
Oh, we need information.
Even if I survive, the Borer won't let me come back. My days are numbered. She glances out the window kill me, don't kill me.
I mean, we could see if Kosowana remembers the formula for Pyre Knight. Test it on her. Just a bit. Right? That's too quick.
How many times have I told you I don't want anything to do with the bloody stuff, okay? Points up his glasses.
Alright, you can go out.
It'll be the ruin. Oh. Thanks, Mom. And stumbles back upstairs.
Next time, watch where you're throwing the fucking stones.
As Kosowana stumbles away, he kind of goes to wherever Saruk is and leans his head into the door and says they're talking about killing her, just so you know.
So in the intervening space, is Farah conscious / can I make her conscious?
She's conscious. She wasn't unconscious. She was just bound and gagged and tied up. So she's able to be healed, and she sort of is grief-stricken at everything that happened in most of her crew being offed. But she is she's a tough cookie, and she's not, trying to let it. So she's getting the ship ready for takeoff, and she's basically ready to take off as soon as you are at this point.
Okay, got it.
Quietly on the bridge, like turning dials, checking everything, seeing what they screwed with.
I think at some point between there is like pull gag out of her mouth, cut her free. Get it going. I'll get you the rest of the way. When we get back, I'll try to find something to make this right. I'm not surprised, but I am sorry. And just like...
You can see the words are like weighing on her heavily, but she just kind of lights up her cigarette. I'm too old for this shit.
You and me both.
Is it worth it?
Yes. There's a just glance. I'm not gonna take the bait, and then here's Kosowana, and I'll start jogging back.
Yeah, so you see guys who are coming towards this conversation, but they've kind of, they're willing to like talk and answer any questions you have, but like there doesn't look to be any actual fear of death in their eyes because they realize their days are numbered.
I'm just gonna shoulder check the door open. You are my path to Ambrose Mugland. Can you get me there?
Probably.
Hang on before she answers. That did the thing. I just gotta roll diplomacy about it.
Oh, pointed question.
Pointed question!
All right, make a diplomacy check.
Okay, finally I can roll. 34.
Yeah, that's a critical success.
Oh, well, they must directly answer my question. They don't have to tell the truth, but a big bonus if they lie to me.
Kind of snickers a little bit. Like, I mean, you'll probably take me to Sabora. I could set up a meeting back at our hideout.
Who is Sabora?
Boss lady. Sabora Sharkosa.
The head of the Gilded Gunners? You can set up a meeting.
Anticipate if I show up and Kosowana is not dead, then there's not going to be much of a conversation.
No, here's what's going to happen. You'll set up a meeting. It'll be somewhere that we designate, and we'll have a nice conversation that ends with a nice conversation with Mugland. That is the only outcome. Yes or no, can you make that happen?
Starts like running some thoughts through her head. She kind of looks around. She's like, I suppose that's possible. And then at the other end of this, I get to walk.
That cut out a bit, but I want to just quickly adding all the things, checking all the things. That would be a circumstance bonus, wouldn't it? Boo. I don't believe her. This has a +4 bonus on it from the critical success.
As you watch her talking and you watch her kind of turning her options in her head, you believe her that she is doing what's in her best interest to save her own skin. And you do feel like she is telling the truth, that she will probably go through setting up the meeting. But there is a sense of the first chance she got to like just make a break for it, she's probably taken it. Like if you just send her off and say like, hey, go set up the meeting, you'll probably never see her again. But if you are able to sort of keep her in line, yeah, you don't get any sense that she's lying to you about doing it.
Fine, but it's on our terms, under our supervision, and if you double cross us, I'll rip your throat out with my own tusks. We understand each other? Murderer?
I almost believe that. She laughs. You got yourselves a deal. What do they call you? Tuss?
Just turns, walks out of the room.
I'm a bit curious about something. You said that Mugland didn't have enough to pay your fees. Can you explain that situation to me?
I mean, I'm not in on the money decisions, but word around the guild is, yeah, he couldn't afford the price tag that Sabora quoted him. He's I guess you could call it a hostage at this point. He's holed up in our base. Sabora's got him on a short leash until all of this is settled.
And why did he need the services of the Gilded Gunners in the first place?
And I assume that conversation is loud enough that in the hall that can be heard, so Saruk is going to turn around. Wait, what? You have him hostage?
Sort of a hostage. To be quite frank, I'm pretty sure he's in this situation because of you lot.
Sucks to be him.
Do not foil his plans. I assume it was you at the Bottleneck Bridge.
Sucks to be him.
Assume it was you that stopped Dewey Daystar.
Correct, and he can die mad about it.
She can't stop but laugh. Like, yeah, he went the cheap route. That didn't work. He had to come for the best.
Should have gone for the brass gunners. Rolls eyes.
Oh, that's what happens when you rely on hired help.
We are paid very handsomely for our efforts. Unlike...
And you did very well here. Didn't you? You did great. And I nod her brother's head yes.
I'll give you that.
Why are you still, if he's held up, you have him in your, wherever it is you all live, why are you still doing his dirty work? You have all of the cards in your hands. You cannot be that stupid.
Well, we had a contract.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can be that stupid.
I mean, you really think what? You build reputation in Alkenstar by turning on the people that hire you?
I think that's par for the course, yes. Maybe I just haven't seen enough.
Well, you're not entirely wrong on that one, but there's a reason why we have the reputation we do. The reason we command the price that we do. So until his debt is settled, Mugland is a, let's say, political prisoner.
And you can arrange a meeting with your boss on our turf to release him to us. Because the more you're talking, the more this feels ludicrously unlikely.
And I can't promise what she's going to say when she meets you, but yeah. I can at least put you in the same room together. What is your plans, anyways?
My plans? I'll tell you. My plans are to not tell you what my fucking plans are. How?
Well, we're on the same team now. I'm casting my lot in with you.
There's a look of shock in Anita's face, but like she's trying to hide it.
Refi's just smiling ear to ear.
We're not on the same team. You killed people who didn't deserve it. The only reason I don't end your life right now is you can get myself, my associates, to people we need to get to. Maybe, theoretically, or you're just talking out your own ass to try to buy yourself some more time. No, we aren't on even the same playing field.
I mean, if anyone else wants to do a sense motive here, feel free to do a secret perception check. But at the very least, Refi or Saruk, you don't get the sense that you get the sense she'll do anything she can to save her own skin at this point. Is really what it is.
Refi will never believe another halfling again. So,
Anita, similarly, you believe that she will follow through with what she's promising to do.
My question is, do we really need her? Because we have Refi over here, who knows absolutely everything about Mugland.
Correct, but we don't have someone who's working for the faction that has Mugland in their backyard, apparently. It makes it a step easier.
I've always wondered who was faster. Me or Kosa.
And you can figure that out when we arrange that meeting.
How about, as Saruk said, we'll put you on a tight leash. We'll confer with our handler. If she has any connections and you are deemed unnecessary anymore, then we'll vote. But right now, you really need to prove your usefulness. Because no one here is going to fight for you.
Just glaring at her.
Yeah, she nods. She's like, I'll come up with a plan. I'm assuming her hands are like bound, you know? She's like, anyone got any paper? And you undo these.
Depends. You know how to make a drink.
Can manage. She will attempt to, with her bound hands, make you guys a round of drinks. So I think narratively too, it like, you know, an undetermined amount of time passed, but like how we're like, there's like a Anita on the bow of the ship with the spyglass, and then we probably see Hal on the horizon at some point. How long would Hal be out? You tell us.
Probably several hours, and they would hear the howls throughout the night. He's coming back before the morning, but they would hear several howls, and then they would hear answering howls. And then if Anita's up there looking, she would see the light reflected in his eyes from the light of the ship, but then she'd also see the same way following him towards the ship. And he would approach the ship still in his beastkin form, and he would go and he would probably see if Refucule's still up there having a booze or having a drink, ask him, or at least if he's still playing with the head, he would take the head from Refugule and grab the body and go throw it out in the desert. And then he would go back up and take Celeste's body and take it out and throw it in the desert. And then he'd gesture to the prisoner, whoever might be watching over them, this one too. He would take the other person who didn't make it, the other captain. He'd probably hit up there and say, this person had family. If not, some friends who were hungry.
He wasn't married, no kids, but he had a girlfriend back home. Actually, Farah would say he has a handful of girlfriends back home. Didn't like to be settled down.
He would pass, and then he'd find out if they were the prisoner, what they're going to do with the prisoner, whoever be deciding their fate. He'd probably come to Saruk first. What are you doing with her?
The gunner lives. They have Mugland. That's our path to him. Our esteemed guest is going to arrange a meeting with the head of the gunners. From there, we'll see. For now, they live.
And then I think Hal would come back out, and he'd drag the bodies out into, at least away from the light. And you'd hear the sound of other wolves, and perhaps their young, feeding on the dead. And he would come back in and head back to the bar.
When Hal starts dragging the bodies out, like on maybe the second one, Anita will stop in and go, Habernt, can I help? Please.
No.
All right.
I need to do this myself. And we'd finish the job and then go back in, and then kind of change back to the way he was, and just sit on the edge, staring out over the edge of the open area to look at the pack, taking advantage of their newfound meal.
What about Gattleby?
Baby said he had to come back, so, well, she also said he needed to be, we were guaranteeing his safety, so I'm not sure. He had a girlfriend, right, Anita?
Yeah.
Maybe we tell the Church of Bry that there's I don't know. If someone came to a Church of Majagua and told me that there was an eldritch being that was masquerading in a Church of Majagua somewhere, I'd pay a lot of really good money to keep that information from getting out until someone, I don't know, like me, has time to go back and tear the building apart brick by brick. And maybe that's enough to get that old bastard back into his body for a little while.
I think we at least fed the youngins, at least for.
I think there's a shot here of like Kosowana. You guys are talking about Gattleby's fate, and Gattleby's dead, you know, and Kosowana kind of leaning against the wall, watching his dead body. Almost better this way, right?
No,
One less.
not at all. That's not just because someone invented technology doesn't mean that people, including Gattleby, can't do better things with it. And again, if this would get through your head, if not Gattleby inventing Pyronite, it'd be someone else inventing Pyronite or someone else inventing something else. You cannot stop the march of innovation, or you cannot stop the march of innovation. You can only affect its outcome. How can you be so naive?
I've seen things. I know of things within the temple that never saw the light of day because they were deemed too dangerous.
Yeah, congratulations. Your church is a little corrupt. They tried to kill us. You are preaching to the choir.
By the way, it wasn't Gattleby that let Pyronite out into the world, was it?
Also true.
Ooh, that's a good stinger on this poor Kosowana. Oh, so he takes some emotional damage on that one.
Emotional damage. And I don't let our guest pour Hal a drink. Refi will stop her, grab a bottle himself, and pour for Hal.
Yeah, I think when you make that like jab at Kosowana about he's the one that let Pyronite out, it's like the worst punch, like a worst mental punch you could have given him in that moment. And I think it physically like stuns him for a second, and he realizes you're right.
Before he has the chance to open his mouth and before he goes, I stuck my neck out for you. I stuck my neck out for you for a couple of people who would have just as soon sacrificed you to a Hound of Tindalos to save our sorry asses. And I'm sorry you're mad, and I'm sorry that your goddess has forsaken you, and I'm sorry that life has led you to the choices that you made that made all of that happen for you. But get your fucking shit together. Alkenstar needs people like you. Stop brooding.
Okay, let's see. I think this is a moment that is probably going to heavily define Kosowana's future.
Ooh.
Right? Because he is in this kind of weird mental state. Let's see. This isn't really a coerce. This isn't really like what kind of action?
I feel like I am making a request. I'm just being kind of mean about it.
I think so. I think you're right. It's not like in a nice way, but it is at its core, it is a request from this NPC to get his shit together. So I think there's sort of this crossroads that Kosowana finds himself at. And one road leads him to like self-pity and destruction and nothing good, and literally standing on a street corner with a sign and a bell that says the end is nigh as he preaches of the like destruction of Alkenstar. And the other is a man who finds himself getting back at it and finding meaning in the chaos and finding a way to make things right. Yeah, you snap him towards the latter, the latter of the two choices, right? This is a man who's now, quote unquote, going to get his shit together, and it starts by going upstairs in the ship where he finds like a single goblin tending to the engines, too much of a job to keep both running at once, and he sort of comes into to Nulby and sees her doing some work without even having to say a word, just grabs some tools and gets to work. And the two of them sort of work in silence as he works to find a way to fill his broken heart with something, and engineering and fixing things gives him a current way to sort of, quote unquote, get his shit together. And that's what he does for the rest of the trip home.
Is when that conversation happens, is Anita, I know Refi's here and I think Hal's here. Is Anita here?
It depends, because like after the initial conversation with Halfling, like she would have started looking for Hal, and then when he would have started, like moving the bodies, that's when she would have asked like, "Hey, can I help And then maybe like she would have came back for that. So if that's towards like the last or like towards the end of the day, yeah, then Anita would have been there.
Well, what about Kosowana? This, and then you all here. And that goes double for you two. I'm sorry about your childhood, Refi. That's really heavy. That should have never have happened to you. And I get why your first reaction to everything is put a bullet in it. But that can't continue. There's a glance in wherever the direction our esteemed guest is. Obviously, there are miles of nuance here that I'm not going to preach to you about the Gildan gutter. You have to get your shit together, too. Otherwise, you're going to end up just like that sad sack. And you don't want that. And you, turning to Anita, I heard you in the temple. And I am thankful beyond anything that you are still standing here with us today, and I'm very sorry that life has put you here in the first place, and I'm very sorry your life briefly ended in the course of our knowing one another. You care about your friend. I see your friend's toxic influence rubbing off on you, and you're better than that. One of the smartest minds in Alkenstar is gone, maybe forever. Fortunately, I know someone who's just about as bright. Don't go down that path. And then turns and leaves.
Really undersold your charisma, didn't he? She says as you sort of start storming away.
Are we having this conversation in front of the prisoner? How did you get here, Headbutt?
You guys, I assume you're being loud, so maybe she'll just lean in. But she's like, yeah, he really undersold your leadership charisma.
And you oversold your skill with a gun. Shut up.
All right.
Yeah, I imagine Saruk's like yelling this at all of us. Like, I'm near the bar where the prisoner is. I'm not letting her out of my sight for the rest of the trip. So I imagine like Saruk is like yelling this back and forth across like the galley.
And Halbert, just keep being you, I guess. I don't have any beef with you. Why are you feeding? I'm not questioning that. And then goes to find something to occupy himself.
You can call me Mukadas.
Mukadas it is. Damn it, Rut.
And I hand Hal his drink that I poured.
Estri sort of leans over as after like Saruk storms off and is just like, he always like this.
I guess that's what a normal life leads you to. Wouldn't know. Why is he sorry about my life though? I'm not sure.
Grimthrak really undersold his ability to motivate people, I suppose.
Grimthrak's a one-tone ass.
Funny stories though. She goes back to coming up with her plan.
Good right hook as well.
Unless there's anything else, I think we sort of see a sort of montage of the ship taking off and heading back to Alkenstar over the sort of 4-day trip back to the city. You got 4 days of this sort of journey ahead of you. The ship, luckily for you, the ship's completely undamaged. There wasn't a lot of repairs needed to be made. Kosowana and Nolby are able to keep it afloat and keep it running nice and smooth. Farah's pretty tired. You know, she can't really stay on the deck. Who wants to step up and be this sort of second pilot, new co-pilot?
Like Saruk will give it a go.
So we get shots of Saruk sort of at the helm, learning rudimentary training. Like, you know, you still don't know probably what 75% of the gadgets and gadgets and gauges actually do here, but you know enough to keep it pointed in the right direction and how to like adjust it for like the winds. And she teaches you how to sort of read the heavy wind patterns coming and to like rise and lower to like make the best time. You know, there's no check required. You just sort of learn the ropes, so to speak, enough to keep it pointed in the right direction. So with that, after 4 days of travel, you see it on the horizon, this giant haze of smog cloud looming far. Alkenstar, the city of smog. You can smell it before you can even see it. It has a distinct odor. the pollution spews into the air, and you find yourselves sort of watching as your home comes into focus and gets bigger, as Farah is easily able to sort of pilot it right down into Pilot Square, right over her bar, anchor it. You guys are home.
Or on the way home, Hal takes a different stance. He stops wearing his blanket. He no longer has a long sleeve shirt. He just has like the vest that's underneath his shirt. And you see the tattoos on his arms, the gears that go from, his shoulders all the way down to upon his hands, and pictures of his friends. And he takes a little bit of a different persona, where he was more reserved and kind of tried to blend in. He's no longer going to try to blend in. He's going to be his own KL self, and he's going to cause hell for the people who try to hurt his friends. And so he was blending in before, but now I think he's tired of what's been going on, and he's going to take up his namesake that his pack called him. And now that this is his pack, they know him for who he is, and he can't wait for the next meetings between the Gilded Gunners, Mugland, or any of the people who try to stand in the way.
Unleash the beast.
Fuck yes. Oh!
I won't tell Kijak, don't worry.
Yeah, I think the last shot we see is you guys sort of getting off the plane, and you see the renewed like Hal, and I think maybe you guys just sort of like walk right in towards the camera. And I think given the time that it is already, that's probably a good place to cut this episode and pick up with what's going to happen next at the start of next week. So at this point, narratively speaking, we are in town. You once again have access to the entire world of supplies and purchasing things and selling off any of the treasure and loot you may have came across, buying new things. So feel free. I don't actually know how much gold did you guys come back with.
Oh, so we have a wand and a ring that we need to identify. We're currently sitting checks loot. If we sell everything in the party loot, checks Wybert's loot, which I don't think Wybert's carrying anything we want to sell, we'd get just shy of 1,000 gold.
I think we want to keep the alchemy lab though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, please. Also, I don't know where all the what do you call that? the torches went. Like, I think Anita got a couple.
There are 5 ever-burning torches in the party loot. I might have some in my pocket, and okay, I have one. Wham.
The helmet too. We could sell the helmet.
Yeah. Oh, Kosowana have a helmet.
You don't want to keep that great fashion statement for the rest of your character arc? Get a hold of Wiffle Possum, get new art with this dope fucking Triclops ass helmet.
We can grab it back from Kosowana.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead now, and since you have a moment, we'll just identify the items that you're unsure about at this point. So one of them is a wand of widening.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Does fuck all for us, I feel like.
Pretty much, no. I think it came out of... Did that come out of the Cradle? I think it came out of the Cradle. Clerics. And then the other thing, very interestingly, is called a Winder's Ring. And what a Winder's Ring allows you to do is basically, if you're trying to construct or repair clockworks, you get a +1 item bonus to crafting and repairing. And also, you can basically activate it, and it creates a skeleton key that can be used to basically wind any clockwork device, even when you don't have the key for.
So is that less like hack clockwork things?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so cool.
Assuming you can deactivate it, it would actually be able to, so you could activate it, and it would help you to deactivate any clockwork, and then you could reactivate it and basically control them, right? Because when you activate a clockwork, you give them a command, right? So
can't wait to fucking get our robot army together to go kick all the Gilded Gunners' ass.
So it does say you can use it, and when you use it, you make a flat check. If you roll 16, if you roll less than 16, then it only can do one a day. So it's not quite as it's not like creating an army necessarily, but
it'll take an army over several days. Also, it can turn into a clockwork spy. That's so fucking dope.
And then you could use it much like the Gilded Gunners did. So it's worth it. It's pretty valuable, right? 360 gold because it is a pretty high item, but it's also a useful item. Especially because there's a broken clockwork that Anita was trying to fix that she wasn't able to because she didn't have the key.
We can just talk to fucking Kosowana. We saved all his shit. Now he can take care of Sweep Up. Fix his goddamn robot.
No, that's true. I mean, Kosowana does have the ability to do that as well.
I'm also taking a golden silencer. One of them.
Yeah, that tracks.
You better. I'm like, it's so cool. You're not grabbing one.
The worst part about silencers in this game is that they are single-use consumable items, I believe.
Because it's magic. Like, it casts silence on the victim, as well as not making noise.
Oh.
So, like, it's a trinket.
Requirements, you're an expert in stealth. Interesting, so I can't even use it.
Should have gotten
Can
good.
I, like, grab one so that I can reverse engineer it and just make a bunch if you guys need one?
I mean, we're not expert. Hal might be, but, like, I might maybe be trained in stealth because of all of the goddamn skills that investigators get.
Oh, never mind then.
Rip.
Yeah, it says requirements to an expert in stealth. I wonder why that's the case, I guess.
Balancing
Well,
point.
magic's weird. But yeah, it is cool that it literally, it's weird. It casts the silence spell, but it only lasts until the start of their next turn. I think generally speaking,
The presumption is you were shooting this person and then they're dead. Or it's like, I shoot them and then my friends shoot them.
if you shoot a guard, right, you shoot them, even if you don't kill them, they can't yell for help until it's their turn. So then you can just like keep sniping them, I guess. I don't know.
The one time where a silencer is actually a silencer.
Magic silence. Yeah, this is a silence. This isn't a suppressor. This is a silencer. Cast silence.
It's pretty literal.
It's pretty literal. There are higher versions of the item that make the silence last longer too, but they get pretty pricey. I mean, price enough as it is. Yeah, so feel free to take care of any of those bookwork things, selling stuff between this week and next week. Whatever you guys want to do with your cash, anything you want to buy, etc., etc. Feel free to use this story beat to do that because you're back home.
What?
Home again, home again.
I think that's going to do it for us as far as game time goes this week in Alkenstar. And we're actually back in Alkenstar. Woo! Yeah. So big thanks to Ninna, Richard, Ricardo, Tommy for playing with me. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to every Wednesday night and seeing what's going to happen. I had no idea how this night was going to go, but it was nice to not have the stakes be as high, fighting a time dog every week and thinking you might just die at any moment. I hope you had fun beating up on some gilded gunners who, 10 sessions ago they kicked your ass and 10 sessions later you kicked theirs. So it was fun to see that grow. Big shout out, of course, our patrons who make all of this that we do possible. You guys are awesome and amazing, and I'll wait for the list to start all over. But you can give us a look at patreon.com/recallknowledge. Get behind the scenes looks of episodes before they release on YouTube. Your support goes a long way in just making us feel like everything we do is worth it. So big shout out and thanks. David Sims, Sandra Wagner, Jason Irvin, Sam Skaggs, Jay, Ellie Boyle, Paul G, Anish Herman, Michael Boggs, Alejandro Porras, J. Michael Spencer, David Morrison, and Perseus 13. You guys are amazing, and your list is getting long. I know some of them they've let their subscriptions lapse, but they're still a patron for the rest of the month. So come back, guys. You can come back. You can renew it. We got more maps coming every month. Rick's posting new map packs at the beginning of the month.
You're a patron, make custom maps for you for your games, whether you're running Alkenstar or Abomination Vaults or any of the other great APs.
Yeah, we do. If you're a GM, we have lots of Alkenstar themed map with lots of options and resolutions and formats and gridded and non-gridded that you can use for a lot of the scenes that are lacking in the module. So take a look. Big thanks to the sponsor, Molten Hosting, for providing our server hosting and making everything so easy. And big shout out to the single. Check it out on Spotify. The Molten Homies with
Tiny Tommy.
At the End of the Rainbow. It's on Spotify, y'all. I'm gonna put it on Spotify. I'm just gonna clip the song and put it on Spotify.
Please, no.
That's a curse. Tiny Tommy's come back once again. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Have you ever heard the phrase an eye for an eye?
It's so funny if you look at the stream, like your head only comes a little bit above your name tag.
That's all you need. My chair broke today when I had to pretend to be a leprechaun. Auto framing is a neat mechanic.
Use that code recall knowledge.
One
It's
word.
One word.
At checkout and get the entire first month for free. Tommy, what you got going on?
What I've got going on is follow this link to all of my stuff. I thought I was going to be back on the content train today, but instead I got to play everyone's favorite game. Update the stuff you were using to edit videos with. Realize A, that the update is broken and doesn't work unless you roll your video drivers back to like 2 years ago. B, the company isn't planning on fixing it. And C, they refund you about the speed of sound. So guess who's learning new video editing software? It's me. But I make a lot of Pathfinder content on the interwebs for lore and builds and all that fun stuff. And I run a bunch of 1E and 2E games for a bunch of cool people on the internet as big high tier patron rewards. It's all in there. I got my copy of Lost Omens Firebrands today and I was flipping through it. And every time the new thing comes out, I get like the special interest engine will fire on really hard and be like, wow, this is neat. And there was a bunch of new deities they wrote, and one of them, if Paizo was watching, maybe I'm saying this early and I'm in trouble, but you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. The deity's name was, let me open it. Yeah, it's called a Jin Li, if I remember correctly. They stand by. Where button was it? Not there. I gotta find it because it was really cool. The deity is from Tiansha, and Jin Li is represented as a golden carp associated with the self-improvement challenges, the carp that swims up the waterfall and becomes the dragon. And both my inner metal nerd who listened to too much Trivium in high school and my Pokemaniac side are very goddamn happy about this. It's fucking Magikarp.
Yeah. Did you? So you're gonna get the editing software sorted out, and you're gonna have content coming out soon, including awesome Firebrands content, right?
Should be next week. Yeah, we were. Relationship ended with Hit Film. Relationship began with Da Vinci, and it's much better. I had to spend the day learning how a new system worked instead of like putting out content that I was gonna do today.
Nice.
Well, let's hope you get the new software sorted out, and let's hope the video drivers on this one they stay current.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what you use, Rick?
No, but I want to.
I'm a Premiere Pro bitch.
I have a lot of feelings about Adobe. Says the guy with the graphic design degree.
Well, we're going to be back next week, Wednesday, March 29th at 7:30 p.m. as we continue to go after Mugland and the Gilded Gunners and find out if we're able to just get this meeting on the books and resolve everything in a very peaceful manner, I'm sure. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Until then, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and pour one out for Gattleby and the rest of the crew who did not make it
Tip my
through
horn.
this session. Tip of the horn. Good night, everyone. Stay healthy.
GG's, everyone. But